Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the second episode in this HTML and CSS course. So in today's episode, what we're going to start off with is, well, I know last time I told you guys to download Atom, but the thing is, recently I've been using Visual Studio Code and I found Visual Studio Code to be a lot better than Atom, so I actually recommend you going out and downloading Visual Studio Code. In a minute, I'm going to put up two things I want you to install before you start this lesson in order to follow along and have the best experience possible when learning in this tutorial. So here I have the website for Visual Studio Code. I want you to go along and download this. I'm going to put this link in the description, and then I also have the website here for the live server I'm going to use today to help when I'm writing out my code. As when you use a live server like this, what's going to happen is whenever you write out text and you save it, the text is going to automatically, or the code is going to automatically update within your web page. Okay, now let's go back to VS Code and let's get started. So here's a thing that I built before, but let me remove that. Okay, so go to File, then go to Open Folder, and then what you want to do is create a new folder. So I'm going to call this tutorial 1, and then select that folder, then go to File, New File, that off, and then press File, Save As, and we want to save this as an index.html file. And the reason we want to do that is once you write out index, it tells a web hoster that this is your main page, your root page within your root folder, and this is going to be your landing page. Alright, now I did say in the last episode, you might have seen a comment where I answered that Atom was an IDE. Atom is not actually an IDE. Both Atom and Visual Studio are text editors. And the difference between an IDE and a text editor is that within an IDE you can write and test code at the same time, while within a text editor you write code and then test it out later. Okay, now what I want you guys to do in Visual Studio Code is to type in doc and then press enter. In Atom you just type in HTML and press tab or enter, right? And then what we're going to start off with first is H tags. Now H tags are title tags, so they're your subheadings, your titles, etc. You can start off with a H1 tag and then go all the way down to H6 tag. The difference is the lower the number for the H tag, the higher hierarchy has within the web page. And so essentially what it's going to do is it's going to tell Google that this is the most priority title, and so it's more significant for things like SEO, but also the size of the actual font for the H tag is going to differentiate depending upon the hierarchy that it has. So if it has a H1 tag, it's going to look bigger than a H6 tag. So I'm going to actually write a H1 and then press enter, and I'm going to press Ctrl Z to go back, by the way, and then I'm going to go to a new line, H2 tag, enter, new line, H3, enter. Then I'm going to press Ctrl S to save the file, and then I'm going to press Ctrl Shift P, and then I'm going to open a live server. See, if you downloaded the live server element, this would be automatic, so make sure you download that before you start. And then I'm going to click, and as you can see we've got our live server right here. So when I go back here and when I press Ctrl S, it's going to update, but of course I don't actually have anything written, so I actually have to write something first. So let me just write hello, then hello, and then one more hello. So now when I press Ctrl S, what you're going to see is 3 hellos in different sizes. There we go. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is a horizontal line. So first of all, I want to delete these two and I want to write and then I also want to write my web page within the title. Oh yeah, and let me talk about the semantic elements within the code that we have right now. So essentially, what your HTML tags are, they just define that you have a HTML page. Everything you write within here has to be within your HTML tags, or else it's just not gonna come up within the web page. For example, if let me just write some blabber, Control S, let me go back to the web page right here, and it actually appeared, and I don't know how that's possible, but let's just forget that happened. But if you were doing that in a proper web hosting website, it wouldn't actually appear, and it would actually come up as a bug. So the next thing we need to talk about are head tags and body tags. Now the difference is with a head tag, anything you write within a head tag doesn't actually come up within the web page. It's basically just to give data to the web hoster about your web page. So for example, we have meta tags, and meta tags are basically just data about data. And I know that's a bit of a weird explanation, but essentially what they mean is that they just tell the web page, for example, if I was going to put char character set UTF-8, that's a standard character set, and I'm just telling the web page that this is the standard character set that I'm using. I'll talk about character sets in a different episode. But yeah, the next thing we have is the title, and the title is literally what it sounds like. So if I go back to the web page, look, my web page, that's the title right there. And then the body tag, this is where you're gonna write all of your code, and this is this is the main tag that you have to focus on, because you're gonna use your footers, your mains, and your headers, and everything you write here comes up within the web page. So now let's get started with the next thing, which is a line breaker and a paragraph tag. So if I press P and I press tab or enter, and then let me write some text inside this paragraph tag. Now within Atom, what you can actually do, you can press lorem, and then it's gonna, I press enter now, it's gonna generate some dummy text. So as you can see there, we have some dummy text. And now another tip for you is to go to view and press word wrap, and you see how that long line of text just got condensed. That is absolutely beautiful. And the next thing I want to do is I want to create a line breaker, which basically means I'm going to write here BR and then press tab or enter, and what's that going to do is that's going to take this text here and it's going to create a new line. So the text is going to carry over onto a new line. So say if I was to put another line break here and then a third one over here, what I'm going to end up with is 4 lines of text. And by the way, you can't put BR next to a word and then press tab or enter, because it's actually going to be part of the word. So if I press Control S and then I'll go back in here, and then as you can see there, we have 4 lines of text, just like a. Now why do we use paragraph tags and not just H1 tags? Now the reason for this is that paragraph tags just contain your main content and all of the information that goes inside your web page, whereas H tags are mainly used for titles and subheadings and so on. Now the last thing I'm going to talk about is a horizontal line, and to do this, let me create a new line, press HR, then press tab or enter. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a line from the left to the right side of your page. So if I create another HR tag over here, HR, and press tab or enter, then Control S to save the web page. Now go back in here. Yes, as you can see, we have 2 lines from the left to the right side of our page. And that is it for today, guys. Make sure you all take care. Then a new video is gonna pop up right now. Make sure you click on that to watch the next episode.